FM WAME, 92.9 W225BD, Statesville.
Live from the Randy Marion Studios on Signal Hill in Statesville, this is the Sports Recap Show with Brian Suarez, Harry Nostrand, and Mark Covert.
That's right. Good Tuesday evening out there in Radioland. Welcome to the Sports Recap Show here on 92.9 WAME. Brought to you by our friends at the Charlotte Checkers, who, by the way, if you're not paying attention, I'm surprised the ice is still ice for the Checkers because they are playing hot hockey right now. One win away from the Calder Cup Championships in the AHL, and that's very exciting. We will talk about that.
Chicken ice.
That's right. As always, I am Harry the Menu Nostrum, joined by my good buddies and cohorts, Brian the Professor Suarez, the Commander, Bryson Davis on the board, and not here with us yet, but will be momentarily joining us. As you know, we are going a little early, so maybe it's affecting schedule. We'll have the rookie here with us in just a moment. And then back from, where were you?
Oak Island.
Oak Island.
Barbershop.
Back from Oak Island, we got Big Steve back in the house. Big Steve.
I just realized something when you started talking about that opening.
What?
I bought my dang jersey and it's out in the car. I have to put it on. And
Yeah, you
left
might need
it in
to
the
run
car.
out of the studio for just a moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll pass.
But
It'll be all right.
yeah, so we are here to bring you your sports headlines here for the week. We got a little abbreviated show because right after we're done, Charlotte Checkers Game 4 of their series against the Laval Rocket will be taking place. TJ Shalot will be taking over the broadcast for the pregame and puck drop at 7, right?
Puck drops at 7 o'clock.
That's right. So big thing. So we're gonna get rolling nice and quick here, and we're gonna start like we always do with birthdays and trivia and
All right.
interesting facts.
Let me run off a couple of birthdays here. Number one, somebody who you may not know about, Steve Dalkowski, was a pitcher in the minors for the Orioles and then hit the majors just a little bit.
Mhm.
Here's the big note about him. He was the inspiration for the movie Bull Durham.
Really?
Threw really hard and had no control.
Okay.
Yep. All right. And then let's go to the NBA. Billy Cunningham,
Heard of him?
Yep.
Yep.
player for the 76ers, coach for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We got another NBA, Al Horford,
Big Al.
birthday today.
What is he, like
Uh,
60?
We'll flip over to the golf. Hale Irwin, 3-time U.S. Open
Mhm.
champ.
Yep.
And then one more close to home, former Carolina Panther, Sam Mills.
Sam Mills. Wait. Sam Mills?
Mhm.
How old would he have been?
Ooh, I don't remember. I didn't write that down.
He was-
But anyway,
was-
Sam Mills.
all right. Well, there you go. That is the birthdays of the day today. What do you got for trivia today, Brian?
Quick trivia question. All right.
I know the answer.
Pacers-
I know.
What is it?
Mark being late.
No. Yeah, no.
Hmm.
All right.
You wanted to talk about that.
Here, hey, real quick, couple
I'm
history
here.
things today in sports. Lou Gehrig was the first to hit 4 consecutive home runs in a major league game in 1932.
Hmm.
It's only been done by 18 other players. Stan Musial on this day in 1955 collected hit number 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
And on this day in 2012, Tiger Woods got his 73rd PGA Tour victory that ties Jack Nicklaus. All right, quick trivia question. Pacers are in the finals for the first time since 2000. Back in 2000,
Mm-hmm.
who was the coach of the Indiana Pacers?
I don't know.
I was it not whoever their current coach is?
2000, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
No.
No, not Rick Carlisle.
Rick Carlisle coached there a while ago. That's why I was wondering.
Not him.
Who was the coach of the Larry Bird?
Larry Bird. Ding, ding, ding,
Wow.
ding, ding. There you go.
Larry Legend.
Larry Bird was the coach of the Pacers back in 2000, the last time they were in the NBA Finals.
And yet the result will still be the same.
Yeah. Hey, while we're on that subject, we got to give Big Steve a little bit of credit. He called a sweep for the OKC Thunder, and he about nailed it.
But
It's
it's
true.
close.
It's
I mean, close, 4-1. I mean,
that's participation, bud. We don't give out those here.
I'm just saying, I did not think it'd be 4-1. None of us did. So,
But your boy was right.
ish.
Nope.
Ish.
You were
Nope,
close.
there is right and there is wrong.
You were
Black and
very,
white,
very
man.
wrong, but very close.
There's
You were
no
close to being
gray.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
Yet still,
close to being
wrong.
right, but you were still wrong.
just say, just
All right. All right, so let's move on real quick. Some general stuff. Did you see this report this week? Cooper Flags and a NIL of $28 million in 1 year.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Why would he go to the NBA?
Okay,
Yeah,
but
why
now
would you
here's the
say?
other thing. This may not
just
have
think
been
about how much bigger that's going to
Hey,
get now.
this may not have been like 1 year. So the The
Oh.
28 million is made up of 13 million from New Balance
Mhm.
and 15 million from Fanatics. But the Fanatics evidently is a multi-year deal.
It's still 15 million for 1 year.
Multi-year deal.
Oh, you're saying okay, not 15 million a
Oh,
year. Okay, I get what
right.
you're saying.
Not
Okay.
15 million
Still,
a year, a multi-year
He's not making more
deal.
than that a year in his first contract in the NBA.
And he
I
also
mean-
has a couple others. He's got one with Gatorade,
Yep.
AT&T, and something called Court Furniture, CORT.
Yeah. So court, they usually are big about like if you're furnishing an apartment. Well, not it's like almost like a leasing furniture company, or if you want someone to like furnish a house for you, that's who they use.
Okay, because I had never heard of them.
Are they going for the college student there?
You would think so.
Well, it'd be more relatable if it wasn't Cooper freaking Flag.
Yeah,
but,
he's
you know,
probably living in
whatever.
he's probably living in Coach K's living room, by the way.
You know the average
anymore.
NBA salary.
Wait a minute.
Sorry, the average NBA salary in the year 2024 to 25 was $11 million. So he's already like almost tripled that
He's taking a pay cut. Is what you're
just-
saying.
in just college. That's ridiculous.
for now.
Wow. For now.
For now.
yeah.
Don't worry till they come out with
crazy.
their super mega gigantic max.
Yeah.
contract.
NILs.
10 years.
10 years,
Maxed out,
$75
yeah.
billion contract. Whatever. They'll be fine.
I'd go back to college for that.
I'm talking about the NBA.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Hey, speaking of the NIL,
He's eligible for the
I don't
Super
know
Max.
if you've all seen this, but I think this is very interesting. Okay, so Oklahoma lost at the College World Series to Texas Tech. Nija Kennedy was a pitcher at Stanford
Did you
and
see
then went to
this?
Texas Tech. And if y'all read about the recruiting of her, Texas Tech
Oh,
is
no.
her NIL deal with Texas Tech is like for $1 million
It's so okay.
for softball. Think about
That
this,
is
man.
impressive for softball, considering it's not the moneymaker that of the school's athletic program. So,
Yeah, if you get in the College World Series, it might.
but for
Women's
Oklahoma,
College
you got to
World
think for
Series,
Oklahoma, that's the most successful athletic program they've probably got right now is their softball.
is
team.
going softball.
Yeah,
Agree.
so-
yeah,
And she's a pretty gosh darn good softball
she
player.
plays for Texas Tech.
Hmm, yeah.
Yeah. Is
Oh
that
wait
not
a minute.
crazy?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, I said
She
Oklahoma.
plays
so-
for Texas Tech.
I meant
so
Oklahoma. Sorry.
What you said about the NIL deal
Mhm.
being over $1 million? She's the first college softball player to receive one over $1 million.
That's crazy. But it's
Yeah.
also a new thing. I mean, you just think about it. If you think about back in the day, Jenny Finch would have had her field day. At
Oh,
Arizona.
agree.
Oh,
Agree.
well, she
100%.
would have been.
Cat
and she,
Osterman.
and she, respectfully, would have probably been the only one.
Well,
That's
that
right.
I was thinking Cat Osterman at Tennessee.
Maybe.
I mean,
Yeah,
It's still, it wouldn't approach to
No.
Jenny Finch's number.
no, Jenny Finch was
but
insane.
it's still that's
was
pretty impressive for a
ridiculous.
softball player, right?
Did you ever see that video of Jenny Finch getting Alex Rodriguez to swing and miss in softball? Like she was doing like
Yeah.
fast pitch,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and he's totally just swung and missed.
Oh, hey, when I grew up in Pennsylvania, in Allentown, there was a pitcher, fast pitch. Ty Stofflet was like the greatest fast pitch pitcher in the world. They took him to Philadelphia and had the Phillies batters go up against him, and they could not even touch the ball.
I'm not surprised.
They could not touch it.
Different approach, man.
Yep.
Mhm.
So that's why a lot of guys struggle when you get those submarine pitchers up there.
Yeah.
The angle, man, it makes a world of difference.
Mhm.
All right. So speaking of,
By the
struggle-
way, she really quick, she's
Go ahead.
playing through a torn hamstring right now too.
Oh, really? Kennedy is? Wow.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Wow.
Not either.
All right. Speaking of struggle and Major League Baseball, actually the Rockies won today, so now they are 10-15.
10 games.
So
Yeah.
I had it
So
down
they're
for
on pa-
9.
They're on pace to win 28.
Yeah. As of yesterday, they were 27 games behind in the standings, the regular standings, and 24 games behind in the wild card. And they have been outscored by 185 runs.
What I
Lord
just heard
have
you
mercy.
say in that whole thing was that there's still a chance for them to get the wild card.
Yeah, they're only 24 games.
Technically
back.
speaking,
Yeah, they're
yes.
not eliminated yet. Yep, that's exactly right. And the pace as of yesterday was 25 wins and 137 losses.
That's what I was saying. I think they're on pace to win 27 now, maybe with the win today. Good
And
Lord.
we thought the White Sox were bad last year.
How many wins? What was the number?
they have like
Of the White Sox,
Hang on.
didn't they have like 36, 38, something like
To be clear, the 41.
Oh.
They were very bad.
that.
Oh, yeah.
This
the
does
White
not,
Sox?
does not
Yeah.
change the fact that they were bad. They were god
Mark's
awful.
like,
the
let's
White
not- let's
Sox-
not-
They were breaking
terrible.
records for being bad.
He's
and
like,
here-
let's
here
not
we are.
sugarcoat this. They
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
bad.
Oh,
No,
they were god awful.
but the Rockies are worse.
Hey,
Well,
look,
that's
just
what I'm
remember,
saying.
hey,
I just-
the Rockies are here because of the White Sox. Okay,
Yeah.
let's
And-
not. It's
and-
an entry thing.
and you know
They're
what-
pioneers.
And do you know what? Okay, so it's I can't remember. It's kind of like when like a player in like say football drops a touchdown pass, right? And then like 2 plays later, there's something else happens. Like another player does something and covers up, and all is forgiven. It's kind of what's happening with the White Sox right now. They're going, everyone's going to forget about us.
Yeah. You know who they could use is Najari Kennedy, because she's also a great hitter. Apparently, she leads the nation in ERA and strikeouts, but she also leads Texas Tech in home runs.
Yeah,
and
that's
RBIs.
right. Yeah.
Sign her up. Literally, the White Sox, or not the White, the Rockies could pay her $1 million and
Just
go.
designated hitter.
Yep.
All right.
Not fair Shohei money. 'Cause she's doing
Now,
the same
speaking
thing.
of college sports, and let's flip to the College World Series. Vanderbilt, Mr. Super Regionals. They are the first #1 seed since 1999
Let's go
to
to the
miss the
SEC.
Super Regional, and 5 of the top 16 of the
SEC,
16
baby.
have been eliminated.
I was gonna say,
SEC
College World Series.
SEC and postseason play, baby, goes
Let's say they-
together like.
They went from what, 13 teams to 4?
Yes.
Good lord.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh
that's
yeah.
right. I didn't think about
Here
that.
comes
They did.
SEC best conference in
Yeah,
every single
a lot of
sport
them.
until they play other conferences, and then it's weird. It's like something happens, you know.
Well, LSU should also be out at this point. Did you
LSU's
see-
there.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be. I mean, they were literally losing most of that game.
Oh, I didn't see
Last
it.
night
They should have lost.
against
Really?
Little Rock,
Yeah.
Against Arkansas Little Rock.
who had was like 12 games under 500 going into the tournament
Wow.
or going into their conference tournament. They were 19 and 32,
Mhm.
so it's 13 games,
Wow.
and somehow they're here, or they were.
Yeah. SEC's got some. Carolina's still in there.
They got
They're gonna
some
play
splaining.
The
Arizona.
ACC
No,
is
no.
looking really good.
The
in this
SEC,
tournament.
the SEC just needs to shut its mouth.
Well, that's
Cross
true.
So the ACC's got Carolina, Florida State, right?
And
They
no.
got so anybody else?
They got a lot of people actually. I need to double check.
Wake Forest
that.
got eliminated. Clemson got eliminated.
Carolina's
State in
still
there?
Do what?
State.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Coastal Carolina's still in.
Well, that's
I
not
know
the
that.
ACC.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
Carolina.
How long was it ago when Coastal won the championship? Was that what, like 6, 7 years ago?
2018, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. That's like
I think
6,
so.
7
Was it
years
really
ago.
that
I'll check,
recent?
I'll check on it.
All right, so if we pull the brackets up real quick, we can see. I know Florida State's
Florida
still in there.
State,
Carolina's in there,
Carolina,
right?
Louisville.
Miami's still in there.
Louisville.
Louisville's still
Yeah,
in there.
and they're playing each other, Miami and
Yeah.
Louisville.
So there's 4 right
Well, there's
there.
one team going to get eliminated.
So they got a quarter of the 16 because there's 4 out of the 16.
Much-
2016 for
much to
Coastal.
Harry's
Yeah, that's what
chagrin,
I'm
and it
saying.
wasn't. It's not a ACC school, but UCLA's still in there.
All right, so we said 4 ACC schools, right?
Tough pill.
Carolina, Florida State, Louisville, Miami.
Yeah.
Have you?
Oh,
So-
Duke's still in there.
Duke, yes.
Duke's
I
the
forgot
other
about
one,
Duke.
yeah.
Duke's
Wow.
still in there.
So-
And they're in there for softball too, by the way. Are they not still?
No,
well,
the
not
softball's
sure.
down to the final 2.
So Vanderbilt,
Oh,
Alabama,
yeah, you're right.
Texas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. USC was eliminated earlier.
Who did we lose to? Oregon.
I don't know.
No.
You were in the same bracket as Oregon State though, so they got out.
Yeah.
Oklahoma. God, that's so weird. Still saying that they're in the SEC. Kentucky and
Yeah.
Georgia
All
have
got
all been
eliminated.
eliminated, all in
That's
the SEC.
Yep.
Hey, speaking of Oregon, though, did you see the play at the plate that
Yes.
where the guy got? First of all, they had to go back and review it, but they called this contact malicious with the catcher that was blocking the plate
And did not have the ball.
and did not have the ball. Have you seen this?
No, I did not.
Brian, I
see
got to
that.
send this to you. A kid got ejected from Oregon and it wasn't honestly, it wasn't even a violent hit.
No,
Like he literally put his arm up to stop.
He's coming down the baseline, right? Charging home from third. Okay. Catcher is standing
Literally
in the
path.
path,
Like,
without the ball.
without the ball.
Okay, so you
getting
can't
ready to
block the
catch the
plate.
ball, right? So everyone's saying like, well, he's positioned, he has the right to. Nope,
If you don't
that's
have
not
the
the
ball,
rule. You don't have the
can't.
ball,
Yeah.
you can't be there. So he missed. He ball comes in, he hops. He's
One
playing it
hop.
off the hop,
Yep.
right? So one hops, he takes it, doesn't catch it, goes off his glove because he's worried about the contact, and because he's there, the guy from
hits him.
Oregon runs into him, and they're like, well, he should have slid.
and
Dude,
it
get
wasn't
outta
a
here.
malicious hit
Yeah,
either.
and that's
he should
crap.
not as a catcher, he should not be there.
Yeah.
Well, it was malicious. What do you want him to do? There is home plate,
You know what?
and there's a
Here, real
runner and a
quick.
catcher,
Well,
and this
actually,
is
wait a
the
minute, hold
college
on,
baseball
hold on.
World Series.
Yeah. Well, here's crazy. You know what used to happen? Like when I played, I was a catcher, so I used
Make
to
sure to turn your volume down. By
It
the
is
way.
down.
I used to stand with my left foot pointing towards third base and my right foot over here in foul territory, so I was not blocking the plate.
Yeah.
Okay. My left foot pointing third because in that way, if the guy slid into me, my knee goes the right way, right?
Mhm.
Catch the ball and then move into the baseline to block the plate. Because when I played, you could block the plate.
Right.
But so what happened here, you're saying is the guy's standing in the baseline without the ball,
Without the
waiting
ball.
for it to
Yes.
get there.
Brian,
Yes.
here's the video.
And then the guy gets he gets hit, and then it's like, okay, he's out because he ran over the catcher
So mind you,
without the ball.
Yes.
just hit play on this. Now, mind you, they reviewed this and he still got ejected. So this whole thing is crazy.
Yeah,
but
we'll
I
have
just-
to keep the conversation.
yeah, I was gonna say there was a few things that like happened as far as officiating goes in baseball and softball.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Okay, so
I mean, he
what,
got
what
sti-
did
he
they
got rolled
expect
over.
the guy to do?
exactly. And but again, it's not like he took the guy out like maliciously. Like they literally went back and reviewed it and said, "Oh, that was malicious. He's out and ejected."
It's like, but he's in the base path.
Yeah.
It's like if you're
What was
always
so
it's
malicious that the
malicious.
catcher rolled back
But-
and then stood up?
So here's the
Can I say
question:
this?
if,
Yeah.
does he make that malicious act if the catcher is not where he is? No.
No.
Just a
No,
play.
No.
agree.
So
No, because he just run. He runs if the catcher doesn't have the ball and he's not there. He
But,
doesn't
like,
even have to slide.
you are literally ignoring a rule. The first one you should be considering in this instance to get to the other one. Like you can't.
Yeah,
You can't do
one affects the other.
Right.
Yeah.
If he's not there, this hit doesn't take place.
Exactly.
yeah, that's crazy.
And I just thought it was crazy that it got reviewed and they still were like, "Yeah, he's gone."
Yeah, he's
That's-
out.
that's
He's gone.
insane.
Wow.
But I mean, I think the Vanderbilt thing overall, getting back to where we were, does kind of speak to, again, all the SEC teams being in there, and obviously they weren't all going to make it to the next round, right? Like that's
Mhm.
almost inevitable.
Right.
But that being said, like you think that this conference, that when it goes through the regular season, has all these powerhouse teams, it kind of gives you the idea, just like we talk about with football, that maybe the SEC is not as powerful as you think it is.
Right.
Well, it's all Southern baseball. That's great. I see a West Coast team. I see a team from Texas. I guess Duke is technically still in the South. Where's Murray State? Ohio?
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
So
Kentucky.
not the South, even though Kentucky's in the SEC. West Virginia is not in the South. Arizona's on the West Coast. North Carolina, yeah, we know about that. And it's just like you've got other teams there. Like Arkansas and Tennessee are still there. Auburn's still there. Like there's still so
Right,
many SEC teams there. So many, there's three. Four, excuse me, LSU. But the power isn't there. Like when they go up against other conferences, outside of
Yeah.
basketball, of course, I can't
Yeah.
say anything about basketball, but they get walloped.
Yeah.
It's like, well, the schedule's so hard. Dude, miss me with it. It's just it's the perception of everything. So Vanderbilt going in as the number 1 seed, you thought they were back.
They're gone.
Don't tell Wright State
I mean,
that.
You could have
Yeah.
argued they were the hottest team
Yeah.
in college baseball. I mean, they
Uh-huh.
won 8 previous games going into this, and
Mhm.
Well,
they
this
just
time of year
played
they
3
usually
great
are.
games to
Yep.
get to the SEC championship. So
Yep. But now a lot of that road has been cleared for a lot of these schools now. And you suddenly turn from seeing a whole group of SEC just goons sitting in front of you. The light is now visible straight
Yeah.
through their heart.
Yeah.
So that opens the door for a lot of teams. Again, the ACC looking really good as well. So exciting to see how it all kind of breaks down. These will be your super regionals, and then obviously we move forward to
Yep. Next
Omaha.
Tuesday. Next Tuesday we'll discuss Omaha
Oh my
because
God.
it'll all be set.
And that's when Brian will tell us, "I've been to Omaha before."
A couple times. That's
I'm
right. Really cool.
already did.
All right. So hey, all right. So let's move on to the NBA Finals. Pacers against the Thunder. All right. I'll let y'all talk about this. I'll chime in a little bit, but here's the one thing that I think is kind of interesting to me is just already doing a little bit of research. All the writers, everybody says it's a foregone conclusion who's going to win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Steve said it about the Timberwolves last round. Thanks for coming. We appreciate you showing up, but this
Yeah.
is about it.
All right. So then let's play a little different
So-
game here. Let me ask y'all this. I'm going to flip the tables on you. How did the Pacers win?
Shea
They
Gilgeous-Alexander
win.
catches the flu, can't play.
They lock the locker
Same
room
thing.
doors.
No,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Be honest about it. Those aren't good answers.
Sickness is
You
a
don't.
really great
Wait a
answer.
minute. Hold on. You don't play the game on
Okay.
paper.
Okay.
And
okay.
I'm not saying
No, no,
I am not saying the Pacers are
The
going to
flu-
win.
the flu's
Right,
not on
But I'm
paper.
saying
That's
they
in
don't
your
play
bio.
on paper.
I'll give you the answer, Brian, since you want a legitimate answer. And I
Yeah,
thought
I want a legit
thought-
answer.
I thought doing the Space Jam thing and quarantining the locker room was a good
I
idea.
don't got a
Um,
fool today.
Legit answers
Halliburton's going to have
only.
to drop 60 each game.
And
they're-
20
really?
assists.
I think the Pacers need to get
Yeah, them
wins
too.
away.
The Panthers have a better
Because-
team.
Panthers they have some serious issues.
The Pacers need to do good on their away games. If you look at when they played the Cavs and the Knicks, they won both of their games away. The first 2 games they won were away. When you look at the Cavaliers and the Knicks, and they ended up winning both those series. So they just have to perform really good on the road. Maybe pick up a few wins there, and then they'd have to win at home.
So here's the thing. Honestly, I'm going to go with this fact, and I stand by this. The best team on paper did not come out of the East. The Knicks were the better team, and you can argue that, and
Yeah.
But again,
But-
you don't play on paper.
But here's the thing. I think the Knicks spent a lot of their energy beating the Celtics. They played at a super high level against the Celtics with a lot of energy. The Pacers brought that to the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
So I'm concerned about their energy. Well, not their energy level, but how much they have left in the tank. Because what they're going to have to do against Oklahoma City, we saw at times, and this is true. Timberwolves should have made that a better series. They had many opportunities to pull some games away, and they just squandered them. They either got off to slow starts, or they had bad runs, or they just didn't capitalize on some momentum swings that they could have had. If Indiana can maintain that energy level that they just brought to the New York series and bring that to Oklahoma City and capitalize on like what the Timberwolves did, this could be a good series. And it's still an outside shot, but they could win. I think just if flat out, just end of the day, on paper, OKC is a better team. They are a better team. They're fundamentally more,
on the court. They're a better team.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
You don't have to.
They've got the MVP this year.
You don't have
Right.
to keep it on paper.
Right.
I think realistically, here's the thing, and I think Harry actually leaned into it pretty well with where the Knicks were energy-wise against Indiana. Not just coming off a series like they did against the Celtics, where they were battling consistently 20-point deficits, right? Tom Thibodeau was fired today by the Knicks, right?
Yeah, he was.
Why would they do that? They just made it to the Eastern Conference Final. They've been to the playoffs. He won like 24 playoff games. And the last 12 coaches for the Knicks won 7 combined.
Makes you feel like maybe there's something else.
Right. He played guys a lot of minutes. And eventually, as the season goes on, you go through the playoffs, that wear and tear catches up. So eventually, at some point, that gets on you. So the Pacers were able to get, I don't want to discredit them because they still won the series, but like they get a worn down Knicks team.
Well, it was like
in my
everyone was talking
opinion, you look at the series they played against the Cavaliers. I mean, the Cavaliers are the number 1 overall seed in the East, right?
Yeah, the Caps sucked.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
mean,
But
they do
because
that
the Cap,
series. They do
right?
that
But
series,
but they also they lay an egg when they go to the postseason.
without LeBron.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
but
what I was going to say is people said the same thing about the Celtics last year. They'd get the team, after they had an injury or they were wore down or something like
which
that.
they did.
They did. Yeah. So right now the Pacers are definitely
Benefiting from that a little
Exactly.
bit. So, but you're now going up against a team that is
not wore out.
markedly better than the New York Knicks.
Agreed.
Almost
I mean,
across
yeah,
the board.
right.
And had a
So-
much easier series.
I think realistically for Indiana, if they're gonna come into the series and they're gonna find a way to pull it out, offensively they've got to get it going. And I'm talking like because OKC can score. This is one of those things where you have no other choice because you're not going to stop them. Like the Timberwolves were a very good defensive team. You're
Right.
not going to stop Oklahoma City from scoring. Hang on. So what you have to do, Halliburton's got to push tempo.
Yep.
Pascal Siakam, he's got to be there and he's got to be turned up to the max. Wins the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. That's great. That's awesome. He has to be lights out this entire series because the focus is going to be on Tyrese Halliburton. Pascal Siakam was brought to Indiana for this exact purpose. When option A is taken away, who's going to step up at that point? It's got to be him and Miles Turner as well. Like down there, you got to have that presence amongst those big guys. Chet Holmgren, all those guys down there, you've got to be able to establish yourself in some way. But scoring the basketball, it's a massive task and a very unlikely one. And you don't want to be in, but Indiana does not play well enough defensively to try to make up for a low scoring night.
So the Pacers play a fast transition game. Agree?
Yes.
Their biggest problem is going to be that OKC is physical on defense, and the Pacers are going to have to play through that contact, like to score. Right? They're going to
Which
have
they
to
did
play
against
through
New
that
York.
contact.
Yes.
Right. So that might be there's the key. There's the key. Again, I'm not saying the Pacers can win. I'm just saying to me it's very interesting how it's like, okay, OKC is better on paper, they're better on the court. All the factors you're saying, everybody's saying, well, the Pacers not necessarily don't have a chance, but their chances are very
They
slim.
got a chance. I mean, they're here.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Does it
as long
start-
as you're
does it start
here.
today?
No,
Okay.
tomorrow, Thursday. I
Okay.
think Thursday. You're here. Like you have a chance.
Right.
Look,
Right.
no team that has ever gotten to the NBA Finals is a bad basketball team.
Nope.
There's no team that's ever gotten to the NBA Finals that's an okay basketball team. It's OKC.
I
but
mean, let's
no
not
okay.
forget Indiana was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
Right. So this is a good basketball team. But again, you look across the court and you just go
That's
down the
better.
line, matchup by matchup.
Right.
They've got their matchup with Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. Everywhere else, even if you go down that second unit,
Cooked.
there's not much.
I'm
So I mean, it's they've got their work cut out for them. They've got to push tempo, and they've got to find a way to be the aggressor because Oklahoma City is not going to let that happen. Like they went up against a very tough Denver team that was in their face, and they were physical. Didn't back down from that. Took them to Game 7, won at home. Took care of the Timberwolves last series, obviously, even though they're a good defensive team. So they've got to find a way, if you're Indiana, to push that tempo and get points up on the board quickly, kind of offset them somehow.
I'm going to make a bold prediction here. Indiana wins Game 1. They win the series.
Ooh, they won't.
No.
If they win Game 1, they will win the series.
But they won't.
I don't think they'll win Game 1.
No.
So if they lose Game 1, they lose in 5.
It's an emotional team from the standpoint of where that confidence comes into play. Again, Steve pointed it out. Last 2 series, they start out those series 2-0 and they're on the road.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is not happening here. Even if they go 1-1, like you're like, hey, we stole home court. Guess what OKC is going to do on the back end? They're going to get you back. So Indiana is here. They've got a puncher's chance, just as any team in this position does.
Pat McAfee chance.
I just think kicker. I just think in that instance, OKC is too good across the board. And I don't know, even Boston, I don't know on paper who is better than the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that's all we can say right now. Like we're talking about paper because that's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's all hypothetical at this point. But, I mean, like I said, I still think New York was a better team out of Indiana and New York. I just, again, the buzzsaw of the energy level, as I said, coming off the series against Boston, I think it just worked in Indiana's favor. And they're just getting a really relatively fresh team in OKC who's riding a big wave. Again, they've got the presumptive MVP this year. It's just I don't.
No, he won.
He won.
Yeah.
Oh, they already announced
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
Where were you?
How did I miss that?
Harry, even I knew that.
I did not. I missed that. Okay. Well, anyway, it was a foregone conclusion, honestly. But okay, so they got the MVP. It's not a good matchup for Indiana. Like he was talking about, he mentioned the Celtics. When the Celtics and OKC played this year, there was like 3-point games both times. But the weird thing we've seen it. Justice was saying this. Was it last week?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how good the basketball is we've been seeing. We've been seeing a lot of blowouts, a lot of swings and whatnot.
Oh, no, I was saying that. We were having a conversation about it.
Yeah, is it exciting? Yeah. Is it good? I don't think so.
No. So the 2 games that they have played this year were both won by Oklahoma. 120-114 in Indiana and 132-111 in Oklahoma.
Case in point.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean,
and there's like a 6-pointer, but then the other one was 23.
I mean,
or 21. 21.
Again, like 111 points in today's game is. I mean, it's good. It's okay. It's a good night, right? Like it's
an average NBA night,
right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like if you have an average offensive night against the Oklahoma City Thunder, you're probably not putting yourself in a good chance to win
unless you lock them down defensively. The one thing that's going to be going in Indiana's favor is their pace of play. But the thing is, I think OKC can match it.
They're right. They're going against a younger team.
Yeah,
a younger, more athletic.
Maybe
team.
something interesting is that the Pacers head coach he's been in the playoffs so many. Like he's been coaching for a long time.
Carlisle,
that
yes.
experience,
Mhm.
right?
Well, he won in the championship with Dallas. No?
Yep, Dallas, and he was actually the assistant coach on that Pacers team in 2000.
That's what I was saying. I knew he was coaching there because he was the next coach after Larry Bird.
Yeah. So I mean,
well, he gets to experience heartbreak twice. That's good. In Indiana.
So does Indiana.
The Thunder got a pretty young coach there. It's pretty new.
What's exciting about this matchup is regardless who wins, someone's going to have a championship in their franchise history now.
Oklahoma City's already won.
City's already won.
No, they have not.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, they
That's
have.
the Supersonics.
They take Seattle's record.
I know, but that doesn't count.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
OKC
that does kind of suck.
OKC will have a championship, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they already do.
So
ask them.
Yeah,
they'll tell you they do.
I know, but that's Seattle, and if Seattle doesn't fight for that, I'll be mad. But anyway, okay, so let's all make picks real quick. How many games and all that? Brian, you start.
I would say 6.
Yeah,
Pacers are still 2 games.
Yeah, there's a safe pick. Yeah, OKC in 5.
I'm also saying OKC.
And I think it's like game 4. Indiana gets the win.
to avoid the sweep.
Yeah.
to avoid the sweep.
Yeah.
They cut-
OKC's like, no, it's cool. We'll close it out at home.
Yeah.
Tired of seeing like all these games close out on the road. It
Let-
sucks.
let's
That
see what
does
you have to
suck.
say.
Got
It's
it.
terrible.
Thunder in 6.
Thunder and
Going
six.
with Brian. Thunder in 6.
Yeah.
Bryson.
Yeah, Thunder and 6. That's a safe pick.
I'm not playing it safe. I just think-
Nobody. Here's
Uh,
something I've been
statistically.
listening
Well,
on
you get-
NHL Network. Nobody likes a sweep. They suck, right?
How about
Yeah.
how about
and so everybody
Well, that
either.
depends on what side of it.
But
you
it's-
Well, yeah, I know, but think about this. Here's what they said: nobody likes a sweep because it sucks. 4 games, no 4 games. Everybody either picks 5 or 6, right? Because then that means at 5, the one team at least won a game, and then at 6 they won 2, and they made it very interesting, right? So it's like almost always everybody.
varies,
picks
just
varies,
5 or 6.
Varies.
But you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
though, right?
yeah.
Depending on when the 2 wins come, though, it could be
Yeah.
interesting,
I'm
right?
just
So-
looking for
3-2 series
some
now.
entertainment. Maybe alternate wins a little. If the Pacers can come out and steal like game 2 or something, then I mean, hey, I'm all for that. But I do think I don't think it's a 7-game series. Obviously, it's not it may not be a sweep, but it could be. But I think your good buffer sitting right there in the middle is probably 6 games. That's where I'm at.
All right. So with consensus is the OKC Thunder are going to win though.
Yeah.
I don't even think this is one of those things where like you jinx it because everybody on set picked one team. So undoubtedly.
If they jinx it, it's because SGA got hurt. Like if that dude breaks his
No,
leg in
yeah.
game
See,
one,
Harry, now you're teetering.
yeah,
Now you're
yeah.
teetering. Don't do no,
Is this-
don't do
is this
that.
kind of like Mark? What's the game that he wants to end in a tie, right?
Oh,
Ohio State, and Michigan, right?
Something like that,
Is that
yeah.
the one?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
the way I phrase it, but yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you wanted to end in a tie. Well, essentially,
I thought-
essentially what you want to happen
the roundabout way.
in a roundabout way, it would be
Yeah.
a tie, right?
It's a stalemate.
Yeah, it's
Not
a stalemate.
No. I don't want to show up on the record as a tie. I want
Stalemate.
stalemate.
I thought I
Stalemate,
heard him
okay.
say he wants the stadium to implode, but that was
Yeah,
just,
something like that. Exactly. It's a stalemate,
That's
right?
yeah.
Nobody won the game. Nobody really
What was
played.
the,
whatever.
What was
you know.
the submarine 2 years ago?
the Titan.
Oh, yeah,
It
yeah,
all
yeah.
imploded.
Yeah, yeah.
So real quick
Oh.
before we move on to the
Just throw Brutus in there. That's all you gotta do.
the NHL and AHL playoffs. Real quick, I don't know if you guys saw this. Anybody else notice that Bill Belichick's buyout got minimized by a huge amount to a whopping $1 million?
No,
I
I
thought it
didn't
was
see that.
7.
I saw they said something about his contract on June 1st.
Oh
but-
boy,
yeah.
What does that tell you?
he's engaged.
To who is the question?
Wow.
Is he engaged to an NFL team?
Mm.
No, I don't think Bill Belichick's going anywhere.
NFL's
No,
looking at
he's
that
not
like,
leaving.
no.
Well, some people are like, oh, that they're making it easy for him to go somewhere else. I'm like, okay, well, it's
Yeah,
obviously-
home.
Yeah,
To go home.
exactly. Yep.
Just get no.
Oh, it's crazy.
done. We're
Crazy,
done.
crazy to think that a guy like Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches of all time, certainly since that we've seen, probably, is kind of in that position. But anyway, yeah, buyout now at $1 million.
Hey, you know what's really crazy? Depending in the next year or two, you could end up seeing him at a high school football game in your neighborhood. If you think about it, Right?
I know people that have already seen him at high school at practices and facilities and whatnot.
in this neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that not crazy?
would be
He'll-
crazy.
That's
he-
pretty crazy, right?
From what I
Wow.
understand, he
for
may
Coach Belichick.
he may be making an appearance locally at a school in Iredell County here this year.
Oh, okay.
We will see.
Bill Belichick.
All right, so-
The blue band.
Tail.
That's
tail.
I'll be seeing some football.
Hey,
That's,
as long as he brings his lovely friend with him.
Okay. So let's move on to something Harry that mentioned. Actually, the Stanley Cup Finals will start tomorrow night in Edmonton. A rematch of last year's Panthers Oilers 7-game classic.
Round 2.
By God, the
Round
Oilers better
2.
get it done this time.
Do what?
Boy, God, the Oilers better get it done this time.
You know, I'm going to put this out there just real quick. I think they're going to win. I think Edmonton's going to win.
Oh, okay.
So okay.
Because they're riding off that high of the Four Nations thing where Canada will beat USA.
right.
I think it's going to be a sweep now. I think Edmonton's going to get it.
Whoa!
What?
No, they're not going to
What?
sweep for it. No, they're not going to sweep for it. But I mean, they won. They
Oh,
won.
dear God.
They won the Four Nations, and they're going to win the state.
Oh wow! He's like, I heard
Are
it's
you
gonna,
sure?
it's
You
gonna
wanna-
be a
you like?
sweep.
You sure? You
Yes.
guys? You sure? You don't want to like
All right.
take the sweep?
So
thing?
hey,
You good?
real quick, Mark, you
Put the
got
broom away?
Edmonton will not sweep Florida.
all right,
dog.
Mark, you got some take on. You got a take on this?
No, I think it's. I mean, obviously rematch. We hate sweeps. We love rematches, though.
The 7 games.
Yes, especially when it comes to crowning a champion. Stanley Cup final this year, obviously being a rematch from what we saw last year. The 7-game epic
Oh yeah,
of last year. Was it 3-1?
3-0.
Yeah, and then
it was 3
Edmonton
games
just
to none.
3
and then
games in a row.
3 games
Take it
in a row.
back to Florida. Obviously, the Panthers talk about not winning championships at home or anything like that. They get their first championship at home.
Yep.
So beautiful for them. I do think Harry has a point because there's a strong motivator here for Edmonton, and it is last year. And a lot of guys on that roster that were on that ice last year that you climb back into a series, tie it up, win or go home, or winner take all. But either way, you want
Right.
to phrase it.
Right.
Edmonton comes up short in Game 7 on the road, right? That's stuck in your craw, and you've been thinking about that for a year.
Yep.
And now you are back in the stage in the position to get that ring, to finally get the monkey off of Canada's back.
32-year drought.
And the one obstacle left in your way is the same one that prevented you from reaching that pinnacle last year. It's sexy. The headlines are beautiful for this.
Game on.
Yes. It is so perfect and right for picking to take Edmonton here. And I am.
All right.
That a boy.
I just
I love it.
again,
I love it.
revenge is such a strong motivator. People don't talk about it enough, honest to God,
agree.
because it's
Yeah.
it's huge. Because if you've never been in that situation, even if you played sports, right? If you've never been in the situation where you know an opponent, and you better believe after last year, Edmonton and Florida know each other.
Right.
If you've never been in that position, even if you played sports, you can't get it. You can't grasp that concept. You don't understand what it's like. Hatred's a strong word, but for 4 to 7 games, you hate the other side, no matter who it is.
Bryson, I want your take on it. Obviously, I know who you're going to pick.
Well, it is not going to be the precious Florida Panthers, the chosen ones from Miami. I will say this.
We love the checkers.
We
yeah.
love the checkers.
love the checkers.
We love
We're
the
going to get to
checkers.
that in just a minute. Hold on. We're getting to that in
we
just
love
a
the checkers.
We're going to get that in a quick minute here.
Absolutely love the checkers. This is just my thoughts and opinions do not reflect the views of the station.
Oh, that's a good
just-
disclaimer.
That's a good
just
disclaimer.
really
disclaimer.
good-
We
throw
should have that
out
Too
before
bad
the show
Harry
goes
and
live.
Mark didn't do that. Yeah.
Should
All right,
have
go
done that
ahead.
a long time ago.
Let me have your take on it.
Wayne,
Then I'm going to Big
Wayne
Steve. I'm going
Gretzky.
last.
Wayne Gretzky lost his first Stanley Cup appearance versus the New York Islanders. The next year, he won his first Stanley Cup versus the New York Islanders. The very next year, back to back, Sidney Crosby lost his first Stanley Cup appearance versus Detroit. Very next year, won his first Stanley Cup against Detroit. Connor McDavid last year lost his first ever appearance. This was his first appearance in a Stanley Cup final. Lost to Florida. This
And
year,
this year, he's going to win.
This year,
All right.
Gospel.
the comeback is here.
Let's
All
go.
right.
I'm going to start
Big,
preaching.
hold on.
Give
hold on.
me the
Hey,
Oilers.
Hold on. All right.
Give me the Oilers.
All right, Big Steve, you got a take on it?
Yeah. So okay, I watched.
Don't matter.
I watched the
just kidding,
Florida
I'm just
Panthers play Carolina last week, right? Or a few weeks prior.
Yeah, it's been a long
I
enough
just-
time because Carolina sucks.
I just have not seen.
Really?
I just haven't seen somebody put that many points up against such a good defensive team like Carolina. Like they were putting up 6, 7, blowing them out of the water.
Yeah.
I mean, and I have not. I mean, I have not been. I'm not going to say I'm a hockey like expert. Like I'm just starting to watch this.
Well, neither
But-
of these two, but they talk about it like they love it.
But I mean, so I'm just starting to watch this, and just from what I've personally seen on television, I mean,
Yeah.
the Panthers are just looking so good. I hate to say it.
All right.
I thought it was interesting. I think game 4. Yeah, game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, right? Going into the
Yeah.
third period, Edmonton was up 2-1, and the guys were sitting at the desk. TNT, y'all's favorite.
Yep, our favorites.
Yep.
Yep.
They were talking about it, and they were like, "This is probably the best that we've actually seen Dallas play, like in its entirety." And I heard that, and I was like, "Damn, man, they're down 2-1. They're down 2-1 in the series. At that point, by the end of that night, they were down 3-1.
Yep.
And you're trying to tell me that this is the best they've looked the entire series?
That's trouble. All right.
That speaks
Yep.
to where Dallas was, but also to how well Edmonton was
Edmonton.
playing.
Well,
All right.
Edmonton is a team, and I know you want to get your. I know, but Edmonton has just come back this year. Stuart Skinner's playing out of his mind.
Okay. So let me jump in here. So listen, Edmonton is definitely better than they were last year. There's no doubt about it.
Harden.
Stuart Skinner's playing way better. Their defense is way better. They have Evander Kane for this
Yep.
series. I think last year he only played 2 games. 100%.
Fast.
They are much better than they were last year. The problems that they're going to have, one of the things that they're going to have now is Zach Hyman is not going to play in this series, and he's a big scorer for them. For them to win, They're going to have to continue to get the commitment to team defense that they've had. Skinner is going to have to play to the level that he has been, 100%. And their depth is going to have to hold up for the series, 100%. That's how they win. Okay.
Go ahead.
They are definitely better. They are definitely better than they were last year. Their problem is, so are
is
the
Florida.
Panthers. And the thing with the Panthers, here's the thing with the Panthers. Number one, they got Seth Jones now on defense. Nico Mikkola has come on. And then they signed Brad Marchand. But here's the trick about Marchand. He has made Etu Serenen and Anton Lundell much better players than they were last year. And Playoff Bob has come back. And the Panthers have outscored their opponents by 27 goals on the road. They've had 8 road wins, 7 by 3 or more games. The Oilers are 6-1 at home in the postseason. The biggest thing is, can the Panthers keep playing as well as they have on the road? Check this out. This is crazy. Playoff home teams winning percentage this year is a .613 winning percentage. Okay. That's pretty good, right?
Not bad.
If you throw out the home games against the Panthers, home team win percentage is .671. All right.
Wow.
Is that not crazy?
It's damn.
It's crazy.
All right. How many games is this series going? Big Steve.
6.
Yeah.
Oh, and one more thing I want to point out from my point on the Panthers is that the last game they played at Raleigh, like where they play at, wherever I don't know the name of the stadium, but whatever the place Hurricanes play at is one of the
Really
hardest
bad
places
area.
to
Loudest
play.
center.
Yeah, one
All
of
right.
the loudest places to play.
We got 6. How many?
Really bad foghorn. I'm going to say Oilers in 6.
All right, Mark.
Oilers in 6.
I got the Oilers in 7.
Panthers are going to win. It's going to be 6 games, boys.
Boy,
The Rats are going to fly on the ice. Now, speaking of games, we're going to get to this real quick. We got 5 minutes. The Charlotte Checkers are taking on the Laval Rocket, no S, and there is a story behind that. But real quick, they've played 3 games in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Charlotte Checkers are ahead 3-0 right now. They won Game 1 5-1, Game 2 5-2, and Game 3 in Charlotte on Sunday 5-1.
So right now they're winning the series scoring wise 15-5.
4. But anyway,
Yeah, what bad math.
what is crazy is the Checkers have absolutely dominated the Rocket in this series so far. The Rockets were top team in points in the AHL for the regular season. The Charlotte, Harry, we were talking about before we got on the air, they have just been playing some really good team hockey, and they are hot as a firecracker.
Again, I'm surprised
And-
the ice has not melted under them.
That's what you went with. Hot as a fire, not hot as a biscuit out the oven.
That's a
baby.
biscuit out of the oven. Well,
They
yeah,
could
that's
they
good.
could be as hot as a rocket.
They have won 7 consecutive games. And they've gotten playoff stuff from everybody. I think I saw this. They have had 18 different players get points in the playoffs. 18 players.
Depth.
Depth.
They've got, and it's kind of crazy because a lot of what we see with the AHL teams towards the postseason is they move up. There's a lot of recalls into the NHL because their parent teams are struggling. You hadn't had that with Florida. Florida has improved dramatically over the last year. We just talked about it, but that has not had a negative effect whatsoever on the Checkers, and their best players are in Charlotte.
Yeah, they actually only have 1 checker player. That last year they had quite a few. This year they have 1. They have Jacob Magna right now.
It's funny because you look at Florida, you're like, wow, they're so good. Like, what's their next level down team look like? You're like, oh god, Checkers are also very good. Like they don't go anywhere. I just think the way that they're playing right now, again, we talk about momentum a lot on this show, right? So now you're playing with house money. You're up 3-0. You get this game at home, and then you take the next 2 on the road. You get the next 2 at home if you need them, and then the last 2 on the road if you need them. But I think the way they're playing right now, pushing the tempo, getting out there, and executing when they need to, scoring wise, that's going to be the biggest thing. If they can score early on in this game here tonight, we're done. You can close the book on this series effectively at that point.
And scoring in bunches.
Yeah.
They end up scoring, like 3 goals in 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's in clusters, and that really takes the morale of a team, especially the one you're going against, and breaks it down.
And then if you think about it, here's the other thing. They are dangerous on the penalty kill. Mark, tonight, you and I were there. They won the game basically on a shorthanded goal by John Leonard.
Which is crazy.
Right? They have scored 5 shorthanded goals in the playoffs. They've only given up 4 power play goals in the playoffs and scored 5 shorties. Hey, the other thing is real quick because we got a couple minutes. So the Checkers are looking to make the organization the first since Pittsburgh and Wilkes-Barre Scranton in 2008 to reach both the NHL and the AHL finals. And then the last time an NHL organization won both the Stanley Cup and the Calder Cup was in 1995, New Jersey Devils and the Albany River Rats. The other thing is the Checkers actually are riding a hot goalie. Capo Kakkonen is 9-2 with a 171 goals against and a 928 save percentage. They are just playing so well. I don't see them losing this series.
No.
I think they're in the finals. I'm not saying they're going to win tonight, but if they don't win tonight, there'll be a game Thursday night. And the fans have really come out. I believe I saw the attendance on Sunday was almost 9,000 people at the Biscuit.
How many's a whole?
Sunday for the game. That's about the limit right there.
Wow.
So
there weren't many tickets for Sunday.
It was cool.
Probably catch them on like Facebook Marketplace for like triple the value.
Maybe.
Yeah. I think just looking at the Checkers, as a overall, just take a step back and look at this year compared to past years. It's like the past years, they get to the first round and they don't get any momentum. They just can't make anything happen.
Mhm.
This year, from the very beginning of the season, the Checkers, we've all been to a game. We've seen them in person. They are just hard to stop. You just can't stop them, and they've got something special this year, and it's being proven in the playoffs.
And they do play a very physical brand of hockey.
Yeah.
I mean, they are not afraid to muck it up down there and get something going and change the momentum of the game just by being physical. That prowess that they have to get along the boards, get some guys up, and really get out there and get it done. It makes a big difference.
I think in the AHL, you have to have a perfect mix of veterans who have been in the sport for a long time and young guys coming in who aren't used to the aspects of professional sports. It's the perfect mix that Charlotte has. They have the leadership and they have the young speed and the young talent. And it's the perfect storm
and
for
then
them.
the other thing real quick that they have is the depth. Think about it. We're talking about 18 players have either scored a goal or assisted on a goal in the playoffs, and that is unusual.
So that's and there's a third thing to that, right? You talk about the mix of players being what it is, talk about the depth being what it is. These guys have all been together basically for the entire season. There hasn't been, like you said, there's not been a lot of call-ups. So that breeds continuity, that breeds consistency and communication.
Yep.
So if you have those guys that are consistently playing together, you build that chemistry together, that goes a long way, stuff like this. We've been analytical.
Yep.
Here's how you don't be analytical. The Rocket jerseys suck. The name's stupid. Checks go.
All right,
Boom,
boys,
boom.
it's been a quick 50 minutes here on the Sports Recap. We'll be back next Tuesday at our regularly scheduled slot at 7 o'clock. And we will keep you updated on the NBA finals, the NHL finals, and what's happening in the AHL with maybe the Calder Cup finals at that point. Right now, tune in next week. We are going to switch to the Charlotte Checkers broadcast with TJ Schlott, Game 4 down at the Biscuit, Checkers, and Laval Rocket.
Go TJ.
Care about their pets. Nutrisource comes in a wide variety for all stages of your pet's life, and it's available at neighborhood pet stores throughout the region.
This is William Morgan with Capital Management Group. Think of all the fads you've seen over the years. If they were meant to last, you'd still be wearing platform shoes, driving a Firebird, playing Pac-Man. But fads don't last, and that's true in finance too. So why do many big financial institutions promote the latest investment fads? Sure, they look good now, but it's doubtful they will stand the test of time. If that's how these firms handle their money, do you really want them managing yours? At Capital Management Group, we invest with sound economic principles, not in fleeting trends. This approach has served our clients well for several generations. Sound financial advice never goes out of style. Let's talk about how Capital Management Group can work for you. Call us at 704-878-6677 for a free consultation or visit our website at mycmg.net.
Legal help in Iredell County is just a phone call away. The man we trust in Statesville, Sloan Goodford, saves the day. He'll write your will, work the best plea deal, keep you out of jail and have you safe at home. You better phone Sloan, your defense attorney. You better phone Sloan, your defense attorney. 7044-9533-71. 7044-9533-71. You better phone Sloan, your defense attorney. You better phone Sloan.
Hey fans, this is Will Lockwood. We're back to the action on the Checkers Media Network.
Welcome back inside Bojangles Coliseum. Charlotte Checkers, Laval Rocket
Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Checkers with a 3-0 series lead, looking to head back to the Calder Cup Finals for the second time in the past 6 years. On the other side, the Rocket trying to avoid their second loss in the Eastern Conference Finals over the last 4 years. Let's turn our attention to our First National Bank Defending the Crease starting goaltenders. And for the Charlotte Checkers, who else would you go to other than Kaapo Kähkönen? 22 of 23 in his last game played in game number 3, has wins in his last 7 games as he has been the rock in goal for the Charlotte Checkers, playing every single minute so far of this postseason. Has a 9-2 record on the playoffs with 1 shutout to his name, a 1.71 goals against average, which is lowest in the American Hockey League amongst active goaltenders, with a .928 save percentage. So Kaapo Kähkönen, the 7th-year pro, will get the nod here tonight. Overall, earlier this season, he was 14-20-1 on the regular season, but he came into this once after being acquired by the Charlotte Checkers, turned his season around. He's 17-6 with Charlotte since the trade, including the postseason. He is ready to help this team get back to the Calder Cup Finals. On the other side for the Rocket, they're going to turn to the rookie, Jacob Fowler. He's played in the last 2 games, coming on in relief of Caden Primo. Head coach Pascal Vincent going with the rookie, Jacob Fowler. He's played in 7 games so far here in the playoffs, has a 3-2 record with 1 shutout to his name, a 2.38 goals against average, and a .906 save percentage. We saw him on Sunday. He would turn aside 12 of the 13 shots that he saw. Overall in this series, he is 23 of 25. During the regular season, he was 1-1.